before we start, we just want to say and we want to apologize because we're currently in a parking lot. Yeah, as you can see, we're in a parking lot right now and there's a construction going on. So we're truly sorry if there are noises and
There will be any destruction.
yeah, forgive us because this is the only location with, I think,
Hopefully, good
hopefully
signal.
good signal and good
reception.
connection.
Yeah.
So
Hello to our viewers.
hello
Hi.
everyone. Apologies in advance. We apologize. Sorry.
So today we're very excited because it's another episode of our authentic stories. Yay! And we've been waiting for this episode as well because I know I'm not the only one who could relate with our topic for today. And so we are just so blessed and privileged that for this episode we'll be able to hear from someone who is such an inspiration and very influential as well at her very young age. So the friend that we'll be having for this episode is someone who just recently launched her YouTube channel as well. And her channel is centered on her passion for kids. She's there to build, train, empower these children. And sorry for the noise. Commercial break. Okay. Yeah. So, hi, she's already here. So as I was saying, this friend of ours is influential and is empowering not just the kids but even teens, youth, and adults alike. So she is such a bundle of joy, hope, love, and radiance, and she is very much beautiful as well.
Ray of sunshine.
Yeah, so her channel is called Ray of Sunshine. So let's call her in.
And there it is.
Hi! Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear
Okay,
us
good.
as well?
Yes.
Okay,
Sorry?
so we just told our viewers that we're currently in a parking lot because this is the only place with good connection.
That's
so
okay.
sorry if there will be noises because I think there's a construction going on. Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
all right. That's okay. That's all right. It's good to see
But
you
I
guys.
think it's a good background. Yeah, really swag
Yeah.
with our theme.
Oh, yeah, very streetwear swag.
So today is gonna be our second part of the swag theme. But then, for the last episode, we had swag as in start walking accurately with God. For this swag episode, it's gonna be stay walking afloat. And so this is like gonna be the continuation. Yeah, if we started walking, now we stay walking afloat.
Nice. I like that.
And also, last time we talked about depression, anxiety, and doubts, right? So this time we're going to talk about the reason why you have those kind of thoughts. So we're going to tackle peer pressure and the very famous insecurities, like how to handle
Yay!
them and overcome.
Yeah.
So, wait, before we start, you want to say anything to our authentic friends? Yeah, like how are you?
I'm good. I had church today and spent time with grandparents, family, and then to be completely honest, I haven't had time to sit down and like answer the questions that you sent me earlier properly, but I did have time like 30 minutes before just to have a look at it and see what I'm going to say. But I'm really good at just like having just the flow and conversation, and I tend to just have like, authentic conversation when I just don't think about it too much and look at my notes. But yeah, I was really excited.
I think that's the best. It's like the purest form of conversation when it just flows from the spirit. Yeah, it just draw from heaven. Okay.
Exactly,
And so because we're so excited to learn from you and your authentic stories. Okay, so let's jump into our first. Okay. So during this season, since we're all in comfort of our homes, it's so tempting to just mindlessly scroll over our FB, IG accounts, or Twitter, right? So did you ever feel the pressure of going with the flow just to fit in? Or post what other people are posting, watch what they're watching, or simply do what others are doing? If so, how were you able to handle it?
Okay, first, the Dalgona coffee trend. That was a big trend that happened in COVID. Like,
Yeah.
but I'm proud to say I did not follow that because I heard it was not a good trend anyways. It didn't taste good, so I didn't do that. But with the
And it's healthy.
influencers, sorry? Yeah, it's just brown
It's not
sugar
healthy.
and sweet and everything. So I didn't even try it. But in seriousness, with like the celebrities and influencers that have been posting certain things during COVID, I don't know if you have seen a lot of the TikToks that have started to flood your feed recently
Yeah.
with like couple TikToks, like very
Yeah.
young teenagers like making couple TikToks and making it seem like it's a normal, like it's a reality, you know, and it's like, yeah, and it's been caught on camera, and I've unconsciously started to scroll for an hour or like hours, just scrolling through my feed during COVID and watching all of these videos mindlessly, you know. So I think I can honestly say that I haven't been posting things on my feed that I have followed that's been on social media, but I have been watching a lot of them. So I think unconsciously I have been mindlessly scrolling through all of the, you know, all of the content on on Instagram especially, I think.
So as you were like
Yeah.
mindlessly scrolling, did you achieve any feeling of sadness or insecurity like while you were watching those stuff?
I feel like I can't pinpoint exactly what it is that I think everyone goes through some type of, you know, anxiety, whatever it is, in life. And I think I went through a lot of anxiety through this year especially, and I can't pinpoint what it is, but I think it's accumulation of just having the feeling of being lonely and just not being in contact with many people, being interacting with many people, or just, I don't know, it's just a accumulation of a lot of things that has been restricted this year. So I think anxiety played a big part in just mindlessly scrolling through Instagram, social media, YouTube, and just making sure I'm eating healthy, staying fit. Like, you know, I think a lot of the things that social media really portray is for women is body image and like positive body image, and but also when women talk about positive body image, they still have this specific type of body that they still portray as perfect, you know. And I
Like
think,
a standard for them. There's a
yeah,
standard for beauty. The
yeah,
benchmark.
exactly, the benchmark, yeah, and it's like the pinnacle of beauty and like the beauty standard. And I think a lot of pressure was put on myself, especially. I think I ate a lot of sugar and I started to bake a lot and, yeah, started to eat a lot of junk food. So I think social media portrayed, like, you know, definitely impacted the way mentally how I saw myself and everything like that. Yes, once it first started.
Yeah, I think I could very much relate because there
Mm.
are times wherein when you look at the mirror before opening your social media accounts, like when you look at the mirror at times, look at the mirror early in the morning, you could see yourself as someone beautiful. But then after scrolling over your feed and you look at all this skinny ladies, all this clear skinned petite,
Yeah.
petite beauties, yeah, and then when you look at
Oh my
yourself in the
gosh.
mirror for the second time around, it's like, am I really beautiful?
Yeah, you start questioning yourself.
Yeah. But then
Yeah,
in line with what you said earlier, like, how do you not lose yourself or your own identity even if you scroll your feed or you're engaged in social media? Like,
Yeah.
how do you keep yourself guarded and not lose your identity?
Yeah, I have a lot of highs. Like, to be totally transparent, I have a lot of highs and lows with my. Oh, I know my identity, but it's more of just like, confidence comes with identity as well. It plays a big part in that, and I think just I'm not very sure what anxiety really is and where it actually comes from, because uh I think a lot of the things that anxiety comes from is like the thoughts that keeps replaying in my head. If I'm simply walking down the street, going to work, catching a train, I would have this sense of anxiety of like all of these negative thoughts and like, what if this doesn't happen? What if this doesn't work? But I think I've been journaling a lot on my phone, and I've been writing down certain things that God has been speaking to me, what He has spoken to me in the past. So that way I can kind of track back what God has spoken to me, His promises for my life and His plans for my future. And so I end up looking at my journal on my phone. So then I'm able to remind myself, okay, God has already said this to me. So then this is going to happen. Therefore, I shouldn't be allowing my carnal mind to, take over me, and like, and just having a journal, writing down everything that God is speaking to you, like positive things that you should be speaking to yourself, is really important, because like God's promises is true, it will happen. And once I remind myself that, I remind myself that God knows me and He knows who I am. He created me, therefore I have my identity in Christ because He knows me. And then all of these doubts and anxiety tend to disappear. Although it comes back sometimes, I always have to remind myself that all the time. So that's what I do.
Actually, yeah, that's a very great advice, because even our mom, whenever she talks to us, whenever we're feeling down, and even during our Bible study, she would always tell us the importance of having a journal. Like, it's good that you have your quiet time, it's good that you have your devotion, but at the same time, it's best when you journal or when you write down everything you receive. Because sometimes when you're so filled with the voices of the world, when you're so distracted, that journal could actually be your anchor. It could be your your stone, your foundation. It brings you back to where you're supposed to be rooted at, or who you really are.
Yeah.
So that's so true, that whenever you receive a revelation from God of who you are, you need to jot it down or write it down, because whenever
That's
the
right.
enemy would instill lies or
Yeah.
or try to stop, you have somewhere to go back to and something to take back from what you wrote before. Yeah, that's so
Okay,
right.
so
right.
saying the words go back, I remember the statement of Papa JD. Remember him telling us, whenever we doubt ourselves, we need to go back to God's original plan for us.
Yeah.
And we need to just declare things and start prophesying over our lives.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to be distracted, and it's so easy to believe the lies of the enemies, especially
Yeah.
when it keeps on your mind, and most of the people around you starts to doubt you. But
Yeah.
then if you receive the word from God, if God's promise for you is so great, then you just have to start believing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Sorry, I just wanted to add. I think it goes along with our title for this episode. It says there, stay walking afloat. So that's the importance of having a word and something that a word written, so that you could stay. Because it's hard when you just receive a word and then not write it down. You don't have something to go back to, and you don't have something to live by. Because when you write it down, or like when you could have something to go back to, you could apply it in your daily life. So you're staying, and there's a process of walking. It's just staying there.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, swagging.
I love that. That's so clever.
Okay, I just want to say sorry again for the noises.
That's
Then
okay.
let's not get distracted.
I hope we're still
And
audible.
let's stay tuned. Okay, so another question. This question from Chloe, our previous guest, yeah. And since earlier we talked about the noises, the voices around us, right? Like the influences of social media or the people that we're surrounded with. But her question is, how about when we start like getting insecurity
When
or
we start entertaining those voices.
coming from our family or those our loved ones. The moment that, let's say, our family starts to doubt us, or our friends start to say negative things to us. So how do we handle these things, and how
The inner
not to get
circle.
distracted from those negative voices around them?
Because
Um,
it's so easy to block. It's so easy to block thoughts that are coming from.
yeah.
But it's easier.
Yeah, it's easier to block voices coming from social media or from
The
people
outer
that we don't
circle.
know.
Yeah.
But then how about if our loved ones, or let's say our family, is the one doubting us, so how do we handle it?
Mm.
Inner circle.
Yeah. I think it's when you know if you're doing something that you're passionate about. Let's say it's you're doing this IG live and people are asking, like, my younger sister was saying, who's gonna watch it? It's like, oh, why are you doing this for? And I'm like, it's for the community, and it's people who want to see it, who wants to be impacted, and who's hungry, who want to learn more from the same generation, And I said, yeah. So I think there has been a couple of family members that have been. It's been really challenging, I think, especially during this year. Than all the other years, it's been very challenging for me to kind of stay on track with what God has planned for my life. And like, I'm naturally a bubbly, happy, and like positive person, but when someone with so much negative energy, and just when you talk to them, it's just very draining, and you just don't want to do anything afterwards. I don't know if you felt that before, but it's like my challenge is to kind of break through that, and to have a conversation with that family member and to speak positive words into their life, although it's really, really hard, although they're not, listening, or they're blocking out everything that I'm saying. A challenge for me is to kind of, step out of that conversation knowing that I spoke, uplifting words and positive words that is, wise, and just, having a positive attitude with everything, and knowing that, that family, you can't choose family, and they'll always be there. And
Yeah,
so I
that's
think, yeah, and I think I'm still learning as well. I kind of have my moments where I completely lose it. Like, I completely, lose control,
You're
or in
not the
my
only
head.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's so many people like in the world that's going through something that's challenging with their family, but I think in my head I kind of magnify it, and then I kind of put myself down. Um, I kind of put myself down. I have all these negative thoughts again, like, why isn't this person changing? Why am I feeling this way? Now I can't do this and do that. But I think it's like, when you have other family members, like my mom is the anchor in my life, and she's always speaking positive words. She's a pastor at my church. My dad's a pastor at the church, so she's always been the one that's been very positive and giving me wisdom in everything that I'm saying. Is that a dog? No, it's
I
okay.
just dropped something.
That's all right. But yeah, I think it's when you have people who are strong in your life, when you have mentor, and when you have accountability group, and people who build you up, who is godly women who really, really seek the word and who are hungry for God. And when I'm at a place where I can't seem to get out of the situation, I'm thankful that I'm able to have this connection with these people online. That's when social media is so, important, and is so practical when you have during this COVID time, because you can still connect with people who are, who are strong in God when you're struggling in your own little world. Yeah.
I agree with what you said about the truth that even if even if you're in the same family, you can't really avoid having people who might sometimes doubt the word that you receive. Look at Abraham, right? Yeah. Sarah doubted the word spoken over Abraham, and Job's wife was the first one to tell him to deny God, right? So sometimes there really are instances wherein the challenges or the challenging words would come from our family members as well. But I agree with what you said as well. That it's really sometimes
Yeah.
we need to confront them, talk it out to them as well, and speak
Yeah.
positivity, speak life. Because I think this was also mentioned by our mentor. She told us that when there are different voices or different words spoken over your life that are negative or different responses, it's not actually the person whom you're dealing with, it's the spirit behind the person.
Yeah.
So when
that's
you speak
true.
life, when you don't add negativity to whatever negative words they've spoken, then you fight not the person, but you fight the
Yeah.
spirit behind the
That's so
person.
true. That's so true.
So like whenever there are negative voices being spoken
Yeah.
to you, to all our viewers, just counter that negative word with a positive, life-giving message.
Yeah. That's
So
so true.
there's a viewer that's saying hi,
Hi.
hello, Rohan,
Rohan, Pali.
Ali. Okay. Hello. Okay, so hi to Atine. Okay, another thing. Oh wait, sorry. Continue with the question. Okay, so I think there's another question here. Sorry. I think there's a car about to park on the slot that we're sitting.
Oh no,
This is a parking
it's
lot. I'm so
taken.
sorry, but then okay, let's continue. Yeah, I think they parked on another spot now. Okay. This is embarrassing, but okay, let's overcome. The show must go on.
That's all right. Is it your car
Okay.
park or is it a church car park?
Wait, it's a car park. Actually, we're not in our house right now. That's the reason why. We're currently with our sister in their apartment. And the signal in their apartment is not really that good, so we had to go out. Apologize. Sorry.
That's okay.
for all the
I'm
disturbance.
outside as well.
But at least yours is a very peaceful view.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, anyway, earlier you were talking about we're all spirit being and that we shouldn't fight against it like flesh to flesh.
Yeah.
Every time we encounter something negative, we always need to bring it to the next level. We need to battle it like spiritually. Go to God and really have the faith, just like what I mentioned earlier. We need to declare and we need to prophesy for us to remember our identity in Christ. And another thing is, as you mentioned, Sarah and Abraham, I remember the dream of Joseph when he received the dream that he's going to be the king, and that the moment he told it to his family, everyone were like, "Oh, really? That's funny." They started mocking him. Yeah, they started mocking him and telling him that how come you're going to be our leader? How are we? Yeah, why should we bow down to you? If, you're one of our youngest brothers. You don't have that kind of duty. But then, the thing about Joseph is that he really partnered with the Lord. And even though he has gone through a lot from becoming a slave to prisoner and then to a prince, so every time we're faced with those kind of struggles or challenges, every time our family starts to doubt us, let's just go back to Joseph and remember his story, that even though he was mocked and even though everyone was doubting him, still the promises of God, it happened to him, right? So it's not impossible. If God is telling you to become the next president of your country, then don't doubt. Yeah. Like stop those negative thoughts, and if they're gonna mock you, then just let them be. I think, because God's promises for us, if He said something, that it will happen. It will not go back to Him empty.
Yeah, that's right.
I think what's important is, with regards to Chloe and answering her question as well, as long as you don't, whatever happens, never allow yourself to lose honor and respect towards the people who are saying negativity over your life.
Yeah.
Like always, always, even if they speak bad or cause insecurities over your life, even if
Yeah.
they're the source of the negative feeling you have,
Yeah.
never allow yourself to lose honor towards them.
That's so
Just
true.
pray over their life. Yeah,
Yeah.
just speak over their
Yeah.
lives, and then I assure you, everything, even those who mocked you at first, they will be your first supporters when you
Yeah.
finally travailed and overcame and just did what God commanded you to do.
That's
So,
good.
Rachel, could I just ask, like, in relation to what we just talked about, I know you recently launched your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations about that. Yeah, we were watching it when we shared it to our younger sister. She's
Aw.
6 years old, and she loved it as well. So she was thankful for.
Thank you.
So we really,
Aw.
really love it.
That's so sweet.
So we
Thank you.
appreciate your efforts. But then, in line with our topic, like, are there any? If it's okay with you,
Yeah.
did you face any challenges before starting that, entering that domain or starting that channel? Did you experience like hardships, or are there any words spoken to you before you initiated it?
Well, to be honest, it kind of naturally occurred. No words, no negative words were spoken to me. There was a lot of compliments, encouragement. A lot of like church members were very supportive because there are a lot of little kids in my church. So they were kind of showing them the videos. They sent me reaction videos, which I posted on my channel, and they loved it. So I was very encouraged from that. That's what made me create more videos to show them. So it was encouraging for me to hear that like every Sunday, like every time I go to church before in the past. But when I first started, I started to have breakouts on my face like I've never had before. It wasn't acne, but it was dry skin. You can still kind of see it under the skin, but it's dry, dark patches around my mouth and just dry skin everywhere. And then that's when I started to film, I had to keep putting on foundation and makeup on to kind of cover it up because I was going to be on camera. And that was a big struggle because I had no negative words or any like bullying, nothing like that or anything. But it was just my insecurity of exposing that. Yeah. Although my audience are mostly children and parents, but it was my own confidence that I really struggled with when I first started creating videos because of my skin. Although not many people saw it as much, but under all that, it was a really big confidence like issue for me. So that was a big struggle that I kind of went through for a few months. Yeah. So
Honestly speaking, we could like totally relate with you because the moment we started this, we also we also faced the same battle. Like our faces were
We had breakouts. Probably because of the food we started eating.
kinda
And then we started
more time, right? So we started eating a lot. We really got hot and chubbier, compared to before. Yeah. So
and then it's like there's a word from God that we need to start a channel, and then looking at ourselves physically, no, we're we're no way near ready starting a channel. If we would only look at ourselves,
right, that's true. But then God reminded us that these vlogs or these authentic stories, it's not about us. We're not the focus. We're not the main character of it. So even though we're at front, even though we're the one team, but then story, and everything's for we can't really focus on those little insecurities. Those it really means that, especially for us girls. It's a big thing for us.
causes sleepless nights for me. So, and I salute you because even if when we were watching your video, everything that you shared right now, didn't manifest at all. Like there's no hint of insecurity or like sadness in your videos. Like the way you talk, yeah, you were just completely beautiful. Yeah,
Radiant.
yeah,
good.
radiant.
Thank you.
So really, we just want to thank you because you yourself
thank
overcame it and still obeyed.
Yeah, you guys
So
are
we have
really
another-
genuine and supportive. So like those words mean a lot to me, and I'm a words person. So I'm like drowning in compliments. I'm like, thank you.
We'll continue to support you.
Thank you.
And don't worry because everything we say are straight from our heart. So you are beautiful. Okay. So we have another question from another viewer.
Yeah, it's from Nananjoa. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Yeah.
You really
And
couldn't
then-
get how her names.
Anyway, her question is, how can you stop yourself from giving into peer pressure? Because at times it can be too much to handle.
Peer pressure.
pressure.
Like in general or with my YouTube channel?
I think it's in general. Maybe you could answer it first in general and then you could relate it to your personal experiences.
Peer pressure. I feel like, okay, let's say in terms of body image, because I think
Okay.
that's kind of a challenge that
What
I'm
everyone would say.
kind of doing, and for everyone as well. So I think peer pressure is based on what you put on yourself, what pressure you allow, like the things that you expose yourself to. What do you allow that to be put into your life? Like what boundaries, what limitations am I putting into my life that's making me pressured to reach that certain beauty standard? So I think for me, it's just always having to remind myself that I am beautiful, I'm made in God's image, like body size and looks does not matter. Like God sees me from the inside, and I think peer pressure only comes when you put yourself in that position to limit yourself, and so that's when you have that pressure to, because when you're peer pressured, your goal is to reach something that you're struggling to reach. I think that I'm always trying to remind myself, again going back to my journal and my notes and what God is saying into my life, and so I think when you're surrounding yourself with passionate people like you guys, it really takes off a lot of pressure from everything that I put myself in. So I think when you're connected with genuine people, authentic people who are really passionate, like you guys are really passionate at what you're doing, and you're influencing like women and girls without realizing it. Because I saw the last IG live with Chloe, I think, the one with the glasses, and you guys are so passionate and so hungry for God, and it just inspires me. Like women that are my age in the same generation who are passionate makes me want to become passionate in what God has called me to do in my YouTube channel, with like having an intimate relationship with God. It just, you guys inspire me, and people like you guys inspire me so much to become better and to become more genuine and like positive and everything. So I hope that answered the question. I go everywhere when I answer.
But it's so on point. Yeah, it really is. With your answer, I was reminded of how we are being told to always operate inside out, not outside in.
Yeah.
Like in everything that we do, let's always learn how to tune in first to God from above, then receive it inside, and then you bring it out. Instead of you allowing all the peer pressure around you or all the voices around you outside of you to enter in. Because whenever we allow everything outside to enter in, there should be without guarding our hearts, really we would lose our identity. Yeah. But then if you operate inside out, like drawing from God first, and then choosing only whom to listen to, choosing only the people whom you will allow to give pressure over your life. Like for me, it's okay to allow my parents to give positive pressure over my life because it just needs to be better. It just needs to go beyond my limits. So I think
good.
allowing the good pressure to come
Yeah.
over your life, and then you operate inside out,
So good.
yeah, you wouldn't
Yes.
lose your identity.
Yeah, that's so
Like-
true. I didn't think about it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, our dad said, "Greater is He that is in me
than he who is in the world." Amen.
Is that your dad?
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks for watching.
So our dad is also very much of a great factor of who we are.
Actually, right now he's in Saudi Arabia, so
Hello, people from KSA.
yeah.
yeah.
Thanks for the support. So, anyway, the one you're saying that you need to surround yourself with the right people, because actually pressure is not that bad. It depends on the situation. If you're being pressured by good people to push you into becoming the better you, to go to the greater heights, then that's fine. That's totally fine. Because even God, it always reminds us of the things that He wants us to do, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we're just going to surround ourselves with the right people, with the right
Pressure.
right group of friends, then I think peer pressure is not it's not a problem. It's not going to be a problem, especially if it's going to be a positive impact for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, so true.
I think that's really essential
That's
for us
good.
not to let the peer pressure to come in, because if we're gonna be so conformed to how our peers, technically worldly peers, would, how they live, how they act, if we're gonna be so conformed and so like them, then who else is gonna manifest Christ, right? If we're gonna be so much like them, what else is there in us that they could admire, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing they'd find different. So I think for you not to be so much influenced by the peer pressure, to be so pressured, you really have to first find your identity in Christ.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
voila, pressure them to be in Christ-like as well. So,
Yeah, true.
So another question.
sorry, we're bombarding you with so
No,
many
that's
questions.
okay. I'm kind of writing things down, so if I'm looking down, I'm writing as well.
For this question, in line with the previous questions that we had, so how do you make a difference? Oh, this is in line with what I said earlier. And influence others. Like, it is such a challenge to stay afloat right now with all the voices around, especially when there's so many pressure. It's so hard to stay afloat in God. But then how do you keep yourself guarded? And then how do you impact or influence that difference to others as well?
Yeah, so instead of them
Ooh.
influencing you,
How do you influence them?
Other
Especially
people.
now, right? Like, sorry, this is just a quick comment. Like, every time you say God or put God in front of other people's faces, they're like, nah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like an instant wall built between the two of you.
Yeah.
How do
Yeah.
you handle
so how do you penetrate the world without them being
blocking you right
or
away?
being scared?
Yeah.
I think I kind of unfold, like if I'm having a conversation with, let's say, a friend, I always, like a close friend, let's say a best friend, if there's a challenge or a situation where they're kind of, gossiping about other friends that are kind of in the same circle, they're very passionate in this conversation, and I'm trying to, not to feed the fire with more fuel and just to create more drama. But I think it's hard when the person just wants to persuade me into thinking the exact same thing that they're thinking, but you don't want to think the same, if you know what I mean. So I think allowing the conversation to go back to, okay, what is your purpose with this conversation? Where is it going to lead to? Is it going to make any change? Are you going to talk? Are you going to make a change in this situation? If not, then why are we talking about it? But also trying not to say that is trying to say that in a positive way, but I don't know. It's really challenging for me because I'm very easygoing. I'm kind of like, okay, like I'm the listener, kind of. I listen to a lot when I'm having conversation with people, but it depends on the person. I think I would have an open conversation about God if the person that I'm talking to is, is a Christian, if you know what I mean. But if it depends on the person as well. If I allow my values to come into the conversation, I can open up about my belief in God and Christianity and what I think when you just have wisdom, like when you ask God for wisdom, like you have, like, you don't have to actually mention about God if it's not, you think that it's not appropriate. But if you're asking God for wisdom and you're kind of giving them your values and your thoughts about how you would handle the situation, then they're able to see something is different about me. Something's different about this person. I want to talk to this person more. And then you can kind of unfold more conversations about, your belief. And I think you don't necessarily have to mention, have you read the Bible? Or like gift them with a Bible the next time you meet them. But like, you don't have to Bible bash them with verses. But if you just be genuine and authentic, be the person that you are, they're able to see that there's something different about you, And I'm trying to be like that as well, and not to just listen, but to really give value and into the conversations that I have in this situation. So I'm trying not to listen too much, but trying to input wisdom and value without being too pushy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
I think it also talks about how, as Christians, we are called to be the living word, right? So instead of just sharing the Bible to them right on, you could live out the Bible and they'll just see it in you. Yeah, be the living, walking, breathing Bible. Yeah, because this word is alive, it's living, right? So it's word is flesh and bone as well. It's in us. So you're so true. Yes and amen.
Yes.
From Hazel. Hello there. But then that's so true in the context of the conversation between two people, right? But then sorry, I have so many questions. How do you project it towards your social media accounts, right? Going back to the social media stuff.
Yeah.
Like, is it possible to also manifest Christ or influence others in your social media accounts? How do you use that platform to share Him personally?
Personally, I think, that's a hard one because, I don't post. Like, I think in the past, I used to post quite a lot. I used to think about and plan, okay, what am I going to post this week? If I post this, then I can't post this next because it doesn't fit with the theme of my feed. But now I don't post that much unless I feel really inspired to. But on my Instagram stories, I post more. I think it depends I don't know how to answer this question, but I think with, like, God has given me like this new path to start this YouTube channel. So I have to make videos for children and to really inspire and to create videos that are enriching for children who can learn and to, and just having my personal feed. I don't want that to be like to divide what I do for children and what I do in my personal life, like what I show on my personal feed, what I show on my Ray of Sunshine feed. So I think I definitely have been more conscious of what I post on my Instagram stories and on my Instagram feed because of the responsibility that I have now that God has given me, that I need to be careful of what I post, but also in the way I dress when I go out, the way I speak, and who I connect with is totally changed. Like, like when God has given me this, vision to start this these videos for this YouTube channel, I didn't suddenly cut off all the friends that I didn't want to be seen with on social media or anything. But it was kind of like, okay, God has given me this opportunity to inspire other families, mothers and children, that now I have to really reflect on my life to see okay, am I taking life seriously? Like, who am I connected with, and what am I doing with my time that is worth, inspiring other people? Like, is it worth posting this? Is it going to inspire the people? What's, like, and especially I've been into baking, so I'm not going to really think and reflect on that if I'm going to post that or not. Because I just posted a video of myself making brownies, so I'm like, I'm going to post that because I think maybe people would want to see that. But I think it's all about, just being more conscious of what I'm posting and not to, I think I've really reflected and, seen like who are like I'm connected with, and, what's worth sharing and everything.
So true.
Wait, what I got from your answer, it's another revelation with what you said. Isn't it? You mentioned that now you're concerned with how you're, let's say, how you're going to dress appropriately because you're responsible with that. And even with what you're going to post. I think it's another solution for insecurity. Like,
True.
because most of the time you're insecure because you're concerned with what people are going to say. Let's say, this is the trend now, so we need to wear it because people think that this is sexy, so I'm going to wear it this way. Or since people think that putting on makeup is something beautiful, or you're more beautiful to have makeup on, so I'm going to have makeup, blah, blah, blah. But then what you're doing is, it's like you're being glorified. Like, if I
That's
wear
right.
something like this,
Yeah.
like, is it for God's glory,
Yeah.
or am I attracting people, or
Yeah.
am I representing God? And there's a huge
That's so
difference.
true.
There's a huge difference between getting the attention of people and
Yeah.
just pleasing God. And that's
Yeah.
I totally agree with what you said. You start to influence and you start to show who you really are by being concerned with what God will say instead of being concerned with what others might say.
Yeah. That's so good. That's so true.
I just wanted to add something. I just wanted to add to that. With what you said about being conscious about what you post and all that, I believe that's so right because since we're being given this platform, it's not just our closest friends who would see all this stuff that we're posting, but it's being open to the world. So then you really need to have the wisdom coming from God because every little thing you do or every little thing you post, you could not completely avoid people who would judge you for doing what you do, especially when you've already made yourself identified as someone who is living in Christ or speaking Christ over your social media, right? So you can't avoid these people who might judge whatever you put out. But then that's so right. That's why we have to be conscious and have the wisdom. Okay. I just wanted to stress out when you said that we need to be conscious so that whatever we post, whatever we do, it's in alignment to God's will. So we need to walk or operate with wisdom so that we're not swayed. Even if people say different things, we're still doing whatever we're supposed to do according to God. And actually, a few days ago, my sister and I, we had this sit down talk with God. Conversation with God was like intense conversation because we were asking God whether what we're doing with our channel is actually according to His will, or is it for popularity? Is it only being done on our own, on our own agenda? And then personally, I asked God, like, Lord, I need a confirmation of whether we're gonna continue with this thing or not, because I don't want to go further in this and find myself at the end of the journey when you already called us in, and then I show you this project, or I lay this project before you, and you would say that it is done in vain. Then that would be more than heartbreaking for me. So
Yeah.
before we continue, before we go further along, I was just like, Lord, I need the confirmation. And then that very moment, you know what he revealed into me? He told me, changed life.
Yeah.
Like that's the confirmation of whether we're going to continue this or not. Changed life. Because if we're
Wow.
saying that our channel is called Authentic Gold, and when you say authentic, it means it's real. So whatever we're posting online, it should be who we really are in our
Yeah.
lives. Like
Yeah.
who we are off cam and who we are on cam should be the
Yes.
same. And I think
Wow.
that's while we were praying as well, it was when God revealed to me that who you are, who you really truly are, is not really who you are when you're faced with other people. Like the purest you is who you are when nobody else sees you, and it's just
you're alone.
yeah, when you're alone, and it's just God and the angels seeing whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
So when
Wow.
he told me that, I was like, oh, I was arrested because I could say that before that conversation, I'm not quite sure if the Eliza on cam and the Eliza behind the camera are exactly the same person. So when he told me change life, it's like that's when I knew that okay, the command is you could only continue this channel if whatever you're speaking before you speak it, it's being lived out by you.
That's so
Whatever you're
good.
posting before you post it, it's already true to you. So it's truly authentic gold, like
Yeah, I
the
just wanna
real
add,
life.
and the moment you do that, the moment you obey God, that's the only time when you can influence others.
Yeah.
When you can infiltrate
That's so
and
true.
try to if what you're saying is the purest and
Yeah.
with no
Malice, no self agenda.
no flesh there, and then people, even those people you don't know, will be attracted to you. 'Cause
Yeah.
the light will just shine at you, right? Because it's Jesus manifesting in you. And who would resist Christ,
Yeah.
right?
So true.
So
That's so good.
yeah, I think having a changed life, though it's challenging, I think that's the thing that we really need to work on during this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Actually, I just wanted to add as well. Sorry, I'm being so talkative again. Anyway, because it was just flowing when we sat in his presence, it just flowed and flowed and flowed. And you know what he said after him revealing the changed life, and then since your channel is authentic gold, it should really be authentic. It should be who you are in him.
Yeah.
Both, yeah, who you are in him and who you are in front of the camera should be the same. Who you are behind. So he also revealed that God himself will never back anything up that's not of righteousness. So if we're pushing this channel through, if we desire to influence as many as we can through this channel, it will never manifest, it will never work on our own terms. It should be in accordance with his righteousness.
That's so good.
God only backs things up that are from him, that are speaking out righteousness, giving life. So
good.
like he arrested me in the sense that if I'm doing this not backed up by the Spirit of God, it will never ever work. Yeah, no matter how many times we double our efforts into making this channel successful, he'll never back it up
That's true.
if it's not in alignment with him.
Yes.
So,
And also, sorry.
No, that's so good. I'm learning so much. Like I'm writing like things
we're
down
also learning
so that
so
I can
much
remember. No, you guys are so passionate. It's amazing. Like I'm learning so much. Like I feel like I'm back in GLS, like in select arrows. Right here.
At least we're able to sharpen it.
You guys still have the fire. It's amazing. Like I feel like I'm there, and I've got my notes here.
So it's like a conference now, FGC 2.0.
Yeah.
Okay, praise God for that
Comment.
What?
There's a comment by our
So sorry.
viewer.
I have to do something. Oh, it's okay, Nana.
Thank you for watching, Nana. You're also beautiful and you're also so loved by the Lord. We love you too.
Anyway, another thing with what he said, God will never back us up if there's flesh, right? Yeah,
Or if it's not
if it's
Him.
done in vain, if it's not from Him.
There's no God in it. He will never.
Yeah. Plus, if you're gonna do that, you will only be after your followers. Like how many people will follow you, how many people will subscribe, blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
yeah.
Right now we only have 5 viewers, and it's fine with us.
Yeah, we
It doesn't matter
continue.
because
Yeah,
What
exactly.
matters is to bring the word out.
yeah.
Yeah, to release the word.
So
Yes.
you won't be running after people, but the
Yeah.
people running after you because you have Christ in you.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So that's the huge difference between the two. When
Yeah.
you're doing it
Yeah.
in faith and when you're doing it once you're with God.
That's so true.
Okay?
You guys are so good.
You too. Well, we're only receiving all of this as we're inspired by your answers. So, connecting by the Spirit.
Yes.
Okay. So, do we have any more questions, or are we down to our final
question.
fiery
Yeah.
question? Okay. So we ask this to all our authentic friends joining us in this story.
Mm-hmm.
So before we fire away with our last question, we just want to say thank you for sharing the purest and authentic story of who you are, how Christ is moving in your life right now, and how you
Yes.
dealt with all those insecurities.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. So, you want to ask the final question?
For the final question. What is that word that you want to be remembered as? If
You were
yeah,
given a chance.
if you're given a chance, remembered by
Mhm.
yeah,
One thing that I would want to be remembered, like one word.
remembered as yeah,
Yeah.
one word. If there's gonna be a word, what word? would it be?
Oh, this is really hard. I think positive.
Amen.
Positive. Yeah. I
Amen.
think positive is something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the word
Yeah.
itself, I don't know what's with the word, but the word itself, when spoken, it's just pure
It lightens
positivity.
you.
Yeah,
It
like
lightens you. It gives you that different kind of feeling like, oh, I want to
Yeah.
go.
Yes.
I want to
Yeah.
I want to work harder.
it's a word of life.
Yeah.
And I think you chose the right word because it speaks of who you are.
Like ray of sunshine. So
Yeah.
positive.
Talks of hope. And
Yeah.
before we started, we shared to others how you are such a bundle of joy and such a
Oh.
bundle of pure energy, pure beautiful energy. Thank you for everyone who's continuously watching and staying.
Thank you. Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, we were saying how Miss Rachel is such a bundle of pure beauty, pure energy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You know, the first time we met, I didn't know that you're gonna be that friendly or open or approachable. Yeah, because the way you stood, it was like beaming with confidence, and I was like, Lord, am I able to approach this girl because she's so. You were so confident in my perspective.
You're the kind of girl who makes others insecure because just by the way you stand.
And the way she looked, like
No,
she's
not in a negative way.
Oh.
You're gonna make people admire you and just wanna be like you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
No.
when you started talking, when you started opening your mouth, it's like, whoa, she is far from how I thought she would be because she is so approachable, friendly, cheerful, bubbly.
Yeah, I remember being in the car with you. I think that's the
That's
the first time we met. And then I was vlogging. I was telling them,
And so you're the one driving,
yeah.
right?
And I was telling them, hey girl, say hi. And she was like, oh hi. And then I melted just by her saying that. It's like, she's
What?
so sweet.
She's so sweet. Because not everyone with the kind of she is like an example of how you can be both confident and beautiful, but in a godly manner, like godly
Yeah.
confidence.
Wait, these are not empty words or flattering words.
Because the moment we finish dinner, ate, you call ate like older sister. My sister and I were talking about how you were very different from how we
expected you to be because you were just friendly.
I had no idea. That's so funny.
Oh yeah,
I'm so glad I met you guys as well.
we're very glad too. Same here. Oh yeah, but before we end, then because we were talking about being afloat, right? So I remembered there's an illustration of how to remain afloat in God. Our pastor would often say that imagine that you're like a boat floating on water. So for you to be able to withstand or for you to remain afloat, you shouldn't let the water to go in. So there shouldn't be any hole. Because the moment there's a hole, the moment you entertain
to Titanic.
Sorry.
Titanic. So tragic.
Yes.
I don't want to be like that. Okay,
So
sorry.
the moment the water gets in, or you allow, let's
Yeah.
see, negative thoughts, negative comments, and doubts, fears, etc., etc. The moment you allow those things to put you down, then you will really start sinking.
Yeah.
So to remain afloat, let's not allow those negative thoughts in our system. Let's just instantly block them. The moment we recognize that, oh, this is insecurity, then just throw it away.
Yeah. That's
There's,
good. Thank you.
There's like a strategy of how to
Yeah.
shut those negativities down. It's like our pastor would always tell us, imagine that you're just using a remote control. If you don't like the channel, you switch it to another. So the same thing goes with your mind. It's a channel of insecurity. It's a signal of insecurity. You don't want to entertain that channel. You don't want to watch that channel. Switch it.
Yeah.
Shift your mindset.
I think it's easier said
Than done. Yeah.
because even before we started it, just like an hour ago, I was telling her, should we really continue because we don't have like a proper, not just the signal, that not just the clothes, but even our location. It's really noisy, and also I was so concerned with all those things. And then I remembered that if we want to just really glorify God, then we shouldn't let the location, the clothes, or even how we look like, it should never affect us.
Yeah.
And let's just focus on the goal, and the goal is to glorify God. Then
That's so good. Yeah. That's so good. Thank you guys.
thank
Staying
you as
afloat.
well.
I love that.
Yeah, we
Thank
enjoyed this
you.
talk with you, this conversation. If you have anything else before we completely end this story, if you have anything else to say to the viewers, or any advice or any parting words,
Guys, everyone that's watching, stay tuned to Authentic Gold Instagram because they're absolutely passionate, authentic, genuine, beautiful women of God. And I think there's nowhere else that you would want to go except for this Instagram. Yes, this Instagram.
Same thing.
I told you she makes me melt.
Yeah.
It's like,
So same thing for our viewers. This beautiful lady in front of us has her own channel. It's called Ray of Sunshine. So go visit her channel. If you want to start your day with positivity, go watch her videos.
Yes. Thank you guys. You guys made my night. It's a hard part saying bye.
saying goodbye.
That we have to say.
Because it's been an hour. So
For all our viewers, thank you for staying tuned. Please continue watching. Our next episode of Authentic Story will be next week, so hope to see you then.
It's gonna be about love.
Ooh, my favorite topic.
Do watch us as well at Miss Ray.
Yes, is it on
So
Saturday?
prone to calling
Saturday? I think it's on Wednesday.
Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Same time. 6 p.m. there, 3 p.m.
I kept on calling you ate mindlessly in my mind because ate is for the Filipino word for older sister. Do you know Simka? Simka from
I met her once at Moa.
Yeah.
Yes.
because I can't stop myself from calling her Ate. Now we call her Ate Simka. So I might be starting calling you Ate Ray.
Sister.
Oh, yeah, Sister Ray. It's like Ate Ray.
Atta. I'll call
So-
you guys Atta too.
So thank you.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. Thank you guys.
See you again. Hopefully, you can see you on GLS. Bye bye.
Yes.
God bless.